is Chaf Vav Elul, Tafshin Samech Tes. Chaf Zayin Elul, Tafshin Samech Tes. We're learning Hemshech Samech Tes from the Rebbe Rashab with Rabbi Gaffney.
Page Nun Gimel. Right. Alright, so we saw at the end of the chapter that the Pirush that Ra HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shein Ha'olam is Kayim, that he was shittif, that he was mishateif with the Midas Adin, also Midas Arachamim. We saw that was the Pirush that he was mitzamtzim himself through the union of Tzimtzum Harishon and other Tzimtzumim until Elam HaAtzilas he was mitzamtzim himself by even Kazer. Da'inu b'chinas Mamala Kol Ha'almin u'b'shorish u'moked Mamala Kol Ha'almin. That's to say, in the earth after the Tzimtzum, which is already Shayach, to be Meir in the Kelim. Eventually, when it reaches Elam HaAtzilas, Liyais Teifes Mokim Ha'aveda the Terah Mitzvahs, that should have some tfisa, because Lagabi the HaKadosh Baruch Hu, how he is be'emes, the Atzmas Ein Seif, how he is l'mailami ha'olam es, and l'mailami islabshas ha'eres bekelim, then the Avedas HaTaktonim is not Teifes Makom. However, al yidei that symptom and the islabshas the oir in the kelim of Olam HaAtzilas, so then there is a certain tfisa smokim, a certain having of a reference, like Gabi Atzmas Ein Seif, the Aveda, the Terah Mitzvahs of the Adam, and lahamshich al yidei zeh b'chinas ischatches am shocher. That then, originally at the beginning of the Bria, or that am shocher, was the purely mitzad Kodesh Baruch Hu, mitzad ki chofetz chesed hu, was purely mitzad the Rebishter. But now, after the union from Bria Sa'ilam, everything's dependent in the Avedas HaTaktonim, and the Rebishter wanted through that Aveda of the Adam, the Klolos in Torah Mitzvahs, we'll see more in detail, that we discussed the whole general union of the four oases of the Shem Havaya, the Shayach, to the Klolos Aveda of the Adam, how it is mitzad the Kelim of Atzilas, that it should be Teifes Mokim, and through that he is mamshik the renewal, these chachas of the Am Shocha, v'gam she'yeh al yidei zeh b'chinas gilui ha'oel lamata, it should be gilui lakus lamata, b'nefesh ha'odam u'ba'olam, both in the nefesh of the mensch and in the world. V'hine v'al pi anal yuvan mashkosu. What we brought down at the beginning of the Maimer in the Medrash Rabbah, that we said that Eile tail days, Hashamayim v'oretz b'yom hibaram, these are the tail days. Hashamayim v'oretz b'yom hibaram. So that was the word Eile was used to Gabi the whole Shamayim and the whole creation of the Shamayim v'oretz. And so we asked Shaila b'schus mi nivra'u, in the schus of whom, in whose merit, or in whose merit were these things created. And we said that was b'schus v'eile shmois b'neis. Well, we found there was another eile that was referring to the shmois of Bnei Yisrael, written at the beginning of Sefer Shmois, in Parsha Shmois, that the Yidden were the reason they were there, as it were. They were the ones who were going to bear the schus and bring out the reason, and bear the merit for the creation of the heavens and the earth. That was the Yidden. And then we saw and how is it that Yidden are able to continue their avodah, and in what merit do they continue their, or they carry out their avodah? B'schus eile ha'edes v'hamish potim, or that's referring to the mitzvahs. In other words, that how the Yidden perform that merit through which they are able to carry out and in their schools recreated continuously the Shemayim V'Oretz, well, that's through the Kiyum of the Mitzvahs. So that's what we brought that medrash at the beginning of the Maimon. So it's interesting to notice that we have in the middle, we have first of all the Shaila, who is the schuz, or who is the merit for the creation of the Shemayim V'Oretz, and then we bring the Yidden. We say it was due to the Neshomas, due to Yidden. Following that, we say that the Yidden, they have the koyach alidei, the schus of mitzvahs. So from that we see that what you might say, the ikka purpose and the ikka koyach in the whole creation is Yidden. Because immediately after the statement of the Tell of Shemayim V'Oretz, he asks, the Medrash asks, b'schus mi heim nivro, and then we said they were not because of the mitzvahs. No, it said they were b'schus ve'ela shmois b'nei Yisrael. So you might say, well, in Pashtus, well, if you don't have Yidden, you don't have mitzvahs. So you have to have who's going to be mekayim the mitzvahs, and then you have the mitzvah. Or say nachanami, but it's in fact that he says b'schus, in the merit of who were they created, these inyonim, and we said they were created in the merit of the Yidden. Well, that's a sign that the Yidden, as it were, are value on their own. They are be'ika, the time, and the inyan for the creation of the Shemayim V'Oretz. And then, what sort of merit do they have to carry out that task? Might be the next question. And the far is that that's the inyan of Torah mitzvahs. In other words, if they don't have Torah mitzvahs, then they're not the central koyach and sibah and reason in the whole creation. Or if they keep Torah mitzvahs, then so the fizeh comes to is that really Yidden are aika in the whole. They are the principle and the ikka in the whole creation is Yidden, and it was because of Yidden that the whole creation took place. Torah and mitzvahs are like a necessity to give Yidden the koyach to carry out what they're supposed to carry. To carry out what they're supposed to carry out. But if it weren't for the etzem inyan that Yidden are in the creation, there wouldn't be any creation. And into that Ike, what you might call Ta'am, Siba, the Yesod, the Ike fundament in the whole creation is Yidden. And Torah mitzvahs are like an asinus koyach. And afar, it comes to us that since we have a inyan, that we want to make the world a dira b'tatoinim, that means to be megala, elakus in the world. So you've got to have who's going to do it. Because anyway, the world is gil elakus. I mean, the etzim creation is such that it's bottled anyway to the Eibishter, which means that really, mitzad him, everything is begolo b'lavochim. So what does it mean? This whole concept of gil elakus poilom, or the whole concept of dira b'tatoinim. It's anyway there. I mean, everything is bottled anyway to the Eibishter. And the Eibishter is there, begolo, really, mitzad the creation good. The creation is leis asa ponim me. What's the expression? Kula kamei kaloicha. Shiva, there's really nothing there anyway. Below. And we have to say that the whole inyan is alidei Adam. That since Bilagabi the Adam, the oilam is malim, and the oilam meloshin helim, and the Adam doesn't see Elikus. The whole inyan of the dira b'taktoinim is that the mensch, he should be aware of Elikus. That's dira b'taktoinim. That he becomes a medium, that through him is revealed to him and the other Bnei Adam in the world, the inyan of Elikus. That's dira b'taktoinim. Because otherwise the dira b'taktoinim is b'lavoch. And that's what he means by saying that the ikka is the Yidden. The Ika koyach and the Ika purpose and the whole creation is the Yidden. If you don't have them, it doesn't really make any sense. And the whole infant Torah mitzvahs is only the medium through which they're going to do it. In other words, that was what was Eila B'Ratzaina Yisbarach. Went into the Eibishter's will that in this oifen, through mitzvahs, that it would be the infant Gil Elakus in the world. And if the Taklis HaKavanah B'Briyas V'Savas Ha'olam, but that is missing there, the word Olam is, who, Lahamshik Gil Elakus B'Olam. In other words, like we see, to use the expression in Tanya, Dira B'Tach Toinim. You have to bring Gilui Elokus into the world. It's only Yidden are able to be mamshich that. And how do they do that? The Ava Oisis of the Shema Havaya, which we saw was, first of all, the Yud was Anochas Atzmusam, the putting of the self aside, Bittel, the Gomu Bittel B'Metzias, and then we saw the union from the K, Hilo, is his Bonanas Betfila. So we see that his Bonanas Betfila has got a very important part in the whole union. First of all, there's the Bittel, and then there's his Bonanas Betfila, V, Alidei Torah and Mitzvahs. Then we saw the union of Vav K, that was Torah and mitzvah. So the Vav was Be'ikid of mitzvahs, and K was even Kabbalah Soil, the union of Vedas Eved, the keeping of the mitzvahs, Papel Mamish. And we see that Torah or mitzvahs need a precedence, as it were. They need to be preceded by two inyanim, by the inyan of Hanochas Atzmusam Bittel Gomor, and then the inyan of his Bonan. So you might say, well, who busies himself with his bonan? Who sits around being his bonan in Elokus? So then we have to say that there must be some yid somewhere or another. That he's misboinen a little bit before the inyan atfila, and the Eivishter, as it were, is mekayim the whole world because of him. They can do it. Because there has to be this Aveda, otherwise there's not going to be Gilui Elokus. And the whole tachlis is that there should be Gilui Elokus. Who's Megal Elokus? Only the Adam. So who's going to be Megal Elokus? Only people, they do it in that order. First of all, Bittel, Gomer, Hanochas Atzmusam, his Bonan is Betfila, and then Torah and Mitzvah. So if you don't have his Bonan is Betfila, you're missing one of the, you've got a missing link.
I would. It seems like maybe I would ask more on the complete bittul.
So don't forget to put it in the red book. And see if you can find this. I don't know if you're going to find it, but look in the old library and look around a little bit. And then maybe upstairs in the Zal or somewhere.
You said that regarding his bonus that maybe there's someone out there wants some, but I would ask maybe someone out there that you said Bittul Gomor.
Yeah, that's Hanochas Atzmusai. But we had all people Benegela Hanochas Atzmusai. We had the whole thing of Hanochas Atzmusai in the Mara. So you don't remember one time to the other?
No, I just
think that Hanochas Atzmusai would be harder to find than his Bonan is.
Well, I'm not so sure. You got a lot of people, they really are botel, they really do give themselves away. They have a lot of things which would disturb them and get in the way, and they overlook it and they give themselves away completely to Torah mitzvahs, particularly to the Ratzon of the Rebbe and other things in their shlichus in life, ka'itav is that. To find the time and the koyach to sit there and be misboinen. His bonan is betfila. It's time. That's a door. Look at Matsuri. In other words, walking around and people who mamish have decided to give themselves away, call Matziusam, to Elokus and to Torah mitzvahs. I think there's quite a few of them. There's a lot of people who find time to be misboinen. And Betula Kamesha Torik. And therefore, I'm suggesting that probably the Eivishter, if he's just got one or two Yidden somewhere that they're misboinen, then he builds on that. So that we could say is one of the interesting cases where the Eivishter builds on certain individuals the whole creation.
When we say his boinenness, do we mean that what
means his boinenness? Don't try and dodge the issue. It means his boinenness. I mean, his boinenness means deep reflection. I mean, we've been into what his boinenness means. means deep going in and thinking and rethinking and reflecting on what you learned.
We could spend a lifetime in explaining this without doing anything else. I mean, we could spend the whole day.
Nobody's suggesting you should spend your lifetime not doing anything else. What we're saying is that together with the other things, you also have to do is bonus. That's what I'm saying. That seems to be a big nisoyan in our generation. The people are very busy and all sorts of good inyonim, but we don't see people so much being misbeinen. It's a meaning of tefillah, like once upon a time in the time, for example, these men are in the time. Follow people who sit down and mamish think about our kurs, and then during their davening they're also misbeinen. You don't find it so much now. That's what I'm trying to say. That after we have to say that there must be somebody who does. And so we have to say that there's a certain building on here, Malidei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And I'm suggesting that as a rather stirring and interesting machshava. Those are the nekuda. I mean, we find when we get to tzaddikim, to very great people, we find it's written about Rabbi Chanina ben Doita, that the Gemara brings in Masechet Brachos, that the Eibusha says that the whole world is only being fed and looked after in the schus of Chanina Beni. The Eibusha wouldn't be giving panosa to the whole world. They state that in the Gemara. And so the Gemara says, why? Because Chanina Beni is enough for him. He has what are those fruits that what do you call them? The ones that Rashbi used to eat in Nomaira, what do you call them?
Oh, carrot.
Yeah. Kav Kruvin, Me'erev Shabbos ad Erev Shabbos. From 1 weekend to the other, that's enough for Rabbi Chanina ben Doisa if he has a Kav Kruvin. So in that schus that he was so given away to the Eibusha, and he didn't mind what he ate, in that schus the Eibusha fed the whole world. He stayed on. So we see that there are certain people that in their merit the Eibusha so doesn't wait for everybody else. He's prepared to give for the whole. So what I'm trying to suggest is, just by way of suggestion, I'm not saying that is in effect the etzem, pure shatova. But I'm suggesting that nowadays we don't see so much the etzem meaning of his bein and his tefillah kamoshe be'emes tzorich liyos. But the Torah mitzvah shall they mamshichim gila lakus ba'adam u'bo'ilam. Like I pointed out, the dik is the adam. The ikar gila lakus is ba'adam. And Mamir Terech Zeh, it also comes into the oilam. There are other people see also lakus. If they see a certain yid is megala elakus biatzmei, and they understand that there's elakus ba'oilam. U'bezehu kiyum ha'oilam shenishlam ha'kavona. And because of that, the Eibusha keeps the world going. So like I said, it appears that the Eibusha keeps the world going in the schus of a relatively, maybe, I don't know, in the schus of a relatively few Yidden. I mean, Yidden are really into all this in him. And they're into the Avishis of the Shem Havaya, and they do it, mamish, his masters. And, devotion and Ibigim to the Inyan and to the Emes, it's not many such people. Yet nonetheless, through that is a Kiyum Ha'elam Shenishlam HaKavana. Says the Rebbe, Zehu, all that is possible, Kasher Shitif Imoy Midasa Rachamim. It's only when the Eibusha brought in a special type of Rachamim into the world and into his Seder of running the world, Shetzimtzem es Atzme Kaviyochel Liyes Lefiercha. It was that the Eibusha brought down through the various Tzimtzumim that he should be mislabish in the Kalim of Atzilas, and that's already a mamutza, it's already a go-between in order to reach the in a Bria Yetzirah Asiyah and eventually Elam HaTachta, which is the Tachlis HaKavana. And that, in fact, that the Eibusha did that, that's a special type of Rachamim, a special inyan. In Rachamim, taking into account the fact that if he wouldn't have done that, then Eino Elam is Kayeh. The war wouldn't have really been able to hold out. There wouldn't have been any reckoning with the mention. He wouldn't have been able to be Mamshech and Gil Elikus. Lidei Avidose. Ki bebchinas atzmus ein seif, in the level of atzmus ein seif, meaning the ein seif l'mayla legamri meho ilamus, hari ein teifus mokim ma'isa hatach toinim klau. It's not teifus mokim the ma'isa hatach toinim at all. Ki im kasher tzimtzem es atzmei bebchinas tziu odom. It's only when he is metamtim himself, into that whole concept that we spoke about so many times. In the last part of the Maimon, the whole union of Odom, how it is Lamaila in the spirit, and Lamate in the mensch, B'Pchinas Kishu v'Chibo ha'oiris v'ach Keilim, that the Eibster joined himself up and he was Mechabe himself with the Oiris and the Keilim, the Esesphires, of the Esesphires Datilas, Oz Teifus Mokim Avedasa Odom. Then there's a certain ability of the significance of the Aveda of the Mensch, Lagabi Elikus. Like it's put down, that Kaviyoho, that's how the Eibishter relates to the Mensch in a way that it has some effect what the Mensch does, and it's key, significant to Hashem what he does. But that's only through the medium of the Chabris with the Kedim of Atzila. Laham shikila elakus ba'ilom. V'zeshu kosef achachach. And that's what's written. Afterwards. Meaning, achacha means at the end of the whole creation, after the creation, b'midas adin, v'yem aseis, havaya elokim eretz v'sho, mind that the Eibishter was Meshate, the Shem Havaya, with the Shem Elokim. Up till now in the Sipur, in the Torah of the Seder Habriya, it's only mentioned the Shem Elohim, the Shem Elokim. And here it's put down, B'yem Aseis Havaya Elokim, Eretz V'Shomoyim, Da'ainu Sheshitef Imoi Midasa, or Achamim, that he brought in the inyan of Midas Rachamim, meaning that there would be a significance in what he did, Lagabe, what the man does, Lamata, meaning that he made in Elikus Lamaila a inyan of a Adam, similar to what Adam is Lamata. So that Alidei his Aveda, he can, as it were, touch off a similar divine inyan how it is Lamaila, but it's got a parallel to the Adam how he is Lamata. Dahainu sheshitif midas rachmim ve'oz nishlam akavona, and then there's completed and perfected the kavona, the eile teolus hashamayim va'oretz, al yudei nisham zisrael. We put to the inyan of the hidden. Who's paying the over?
Probably one of the Tom play. Probably one of the bottom from Time play. They have them the same round. They use.
I have enough time.
A lot of times with the drafts.
Could be. Erev Shemayim, Dainu sheshita v'imoy midas harachmim, oz nishlam hakavana de'ela teolus hashamayim va'oretz, al yidei neshamas Yisrael, v'toira, through, first of all Yidden and then Torah, hamshi b'chinas gila elakus ba'olam, to bring the inyan of Gila Elikus into the world. Had it not been the inyan of Shittif Imoy, that the Eibishter was allowed the whole of Vedas Adam to have a certain significance, but that's a special form of Rachamim. Alidei would even mitzamtim himself into that inyan of the parallel Lamaila of Adam, then it wouldn't have been shaykh the whole inyan of Gila Elikus. So we see that that's a very special type of rachamim, but it's a rachamim which is shy to the slapshis in the Esesphiris of Atzilus. So according to the minhag, which is Makubal, by Yidna, when you finish one Masechta, you always begin there. You don't just finish, but you can begin the next Masechta. So we'll just read a couple of lines of the coming Maimah, and then we'll see further what to do. Omnom Shem Havaya Habeis, Hu Shem Havaya Dele'elo. So we saw there were the two Shemas Havaya, Vayiko Havaya Havaya, in the Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim. At the beginning, there are two Shemas Havaya. So we said that one was the first one, with the Shem Havaya Dilatato, which has got to do with the Esesphiras of Atzilas, and then Shem Havaya Dele'elo, Shelamayla Mishtaushlas. Who Shem Havaya Sheberotzin. Like we saw at the beginning of the whole Hemshech here, that the whole Inyan of Rosh Hashanah is the Gila Rotzin. Over the Rotzin, how it is, Mamish Miyuchad with the Eibishter is also completely separate from being shayat to the actual Hisavas of the Elam, shayat to the actual Elamas. Therefore, there has to be in the Rotzin Gufa a series of what you might call madregas, which cause it to go down and be Magala the Inyan Arotzim Bapuyo in Brias Visavasa Ha'elames. So that was the Rebbe, that's the Inyan of the Shem Havaya Sheberotzim. She'ola Beretzeni Laha Tzil Ulivrei. But that's already in the Rotzim Gufa, that it's already come down into a level of Laha Tzil Ulivrei. Sheberotzim Yesh Kol HaMadregas Shebishtaushu. V'hainu Hadalad Madregas, or the Dalad Eisis of the Vaya, they're like, as it were, first of all, a Chochma, as it were, a broadening in a Bina, and then a further Hamshocha, and then another Hispashtes. All those inyanim are there, and they're the Dalad Eisis of the Vaya. Yesh Nam Gam came Befidus Rotzen or Elyain. Also in the Inyan from Rotzen or Elyain. That's beyond the whole connection, or any geder, or value, or what you might call comparison, a judgment with the Inyan von Eilames. Okay, now the Archmas ain't safe, moved over Erev Mea Eses Bereis. Vagam Shu Prince Rotzen al Eilames, Mikol Moki Maramula, Bigdesha, Prince Rotzen, Yes Havas Eilames. So Dafki Alidei Ishtaushales. Even though we're saying that the Inyan of Rotzen, how it is in that Madrega, is already a Madrega, is moved on the Eilames, and nonetheless we say that it's a Rotzen to bring about the Eilames. So the Rebbe said that it had to go down through different levels in order to actually get to Malchus Tatzilas, and that's the Shem Havaya Sheberotzen. But that's, as it were, the Shem Havaya, how he is, L'mayla Mi'atzilas. That brings down the Inyan from Rotzen, that it should be able to relate at least to Olam HaAtzilas, and eventually the bringing about of the Olam Bapoyo. So that's Shem Havaya Kolul in Amadrega, which is essentially L'mayla Mi Etzem Olam HaAtzilas, and L'mayla Mi the Hitzavas Ha'olam. Good. Okay, so we'll hold there, and Be'ez Hashem, we'll go for another. There's a couple of things I want to have a word about, and that is that when you get to Rosh Hashanah, we'd like everybody to stay for Rosh Hashanah. I mean, when I say everybody, I mean, the people who are here, because we're organizing a minyan here for Rosh Hashanah. And it's much better for the Bochum to be in the yeshiva if they're already here than to go on amongst the Balabatim. And so I'd like people to stay here because as many people we can get for the minyan, Rabbi Bolton and Rabbi Karasik and Rabbi Lebanoni are going to be organizing a minyan. Alright? The shidduch is like in some state of some sort of ineptitude. I don't know what's your problem. It just seems to be staring ahead of you most of the time.
I was trying to figure something out. I wanted to ask you, I don't know.
What do you want to ask?
When we were learning in Samech Vav, I remember that we learned when it says over there about there's some kind of Gilui